Canaan City FM 99.5 Calabar.
The culture, the music, the home of real hip-hop and R&B. 99.5
FM.
The time is 6 o'clock.
This is Canaan City FM News.
Here is the news read by Utebe Nyung. First, the headlines. Acting Chief Judge of Cross River State approves constitution of special mobile court to prosecute defaulters of anti-tax laws of the state. President Buhari seeks Senate approval for 42 ambassadorial nominees. At least 50 people killed in Ethiopia after the death of a popular singer sparked huge protest in the Oromia region. Details in just a moment. Good evening and welcome to Radio Nigeria, Canaan City 99.5 FM News at 6. You can connect with us on social media on Facebook.com/Radio Nigeria, Canaan City FM 99.5 and on Twitter at Canaan City Radio. Coronavirus is real. Wash your hands regularly and keep social distance. Stay healthy, stay safe. Now the news in detail. The acting Chief Judge of Cross River State, Justice Maurice Energy, has given approval for the constitution of a special mobile court to prosecute defaulters of the anti-tax laws of the state. In a letter addressed to the Secretary of the State Anti-Tax Agency, Reverend Father Julius Adder, and entitled Reapplication for Approval and Constitution of a Special Court for Cross River State Anti-Tax Agency, Justice Energy affirmed the approval on setting up of the special courts for the anti-tax agency. The acting chief judge further stated that he had also granted approval for the assignment of magistrates to handle cases brought up by the agency for the prosecution of defaulters. He wished members of the agency success in all their undertakings. In a response, the chairman of Cross River State Anti-Tax Agency, Bishop Emai Song, noted that with the approval of the setting up of the mobile court, the agency was set to be aggressive in the enforcement of the anti-tax law of the state. Bishop Isong reassured the people that the agency was fully committed to driving the processes by ensuring that the multiple taxation and tolls were done away with in the state so as to bring succor to operators of tricycle, popularly known as keke, taxis, small shops, salons, small restaurants, as well as hawkers and petty traders. According to him, the agency is still consulting with relevant stakeholders with the aim of fine-tuning the anti-tax laws being worked out by the House of Assembly. A non-governmental organization, Tax Justice Governance Platform, has recommended a tax reduction regime rather than outright exemption for low-income businesses in Cross River State. The state chairman of the organization, Mr. William Itorok, made the recommendation during a live conversation on Radio Nigeria, Canaan City 99.5 FM in Calabar. The state chairman, who described government's decision to exempt such businesses from tax as a good gesture, advocated for a tax reduction policy to give every citizen a sense of responsibility to the state.
Where you have less than 5 individuals working in your organization, you are not required to pay organizational taxes, but pay a certain amount, maybe from 1,000, 1,500. Let's look at that situation. If you say to the low-income earners, pay 1,000 naira tax throughout the year, may not be too difficult for the person to pay. Even 1,000 naira will add to the revenue of the state, or at most 1,500 naira to make it sound important, all right? But there must be something paid by citizens. Taxes did not start today. It started from time. Remember Jesus said, pay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God.
Mr. William Itorok further pointed out that such exemption will deprive this category of businesses access to facilities from bank.
Which is why when the governor said a certain group of persons are exempted from tax, we said it won't be just to the people who are exempted, because in most cases, when you go for a loan in the bank, you are required to show evidence of tax payment. Nobody is going to listen to you that you are exempted from tax. And what are you going to use the loan for if you are exempted from tax? It can be made minimal so that you will be able to show your status as a citizen of Nigeria, hence Cross River State.
The Tax Justice Governance Platform is an NGO advocating for just taxation and rooting for citizens to pay their taxes to bring about development in the society. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has commended the efforts of the Cross River State government led by the Governor of Cross River State, Senator Ben Ayade, for maintaining peace and order against all forms of criminality in the state. The Chief of Air Staff gave the commendation during the commissioning of the 2 blocks of single officers' quarters in Calabar. Correspondent Bernardine Anam was there for Radio Nigeria.
Chief of Air Staff, who was represented by the Chief of Logistics Headquarters, Nigeria Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Mohammed Yakubu, said the welfare of officers of the Air Force was paramount, hence the need to alleviate accommodation challenges. The Chief of Air Staff enjoined all Air Force personnel not to relent in their efforts towards ensuring the safety and security of citizens.
As you are aware, world over, the welfare of men is very critical, especially for the military. When you are able to take care of their welfare and they are well accommodated, they sleep well, they are happy, they are more likely going to do their job better. So for us, this is one of those critical requirements for the Air Force, to provide habitable and comfortable living accommodations for both officers and airmen.
The Chief of Air Staff thanked the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, for his continuous support in providing necessary equipment required optimum performance.
We are all aware of our national security imperatives, such as the ongoing air operations in the northern part of the country, where we have been intensifying our campaign against the Boko Haram and armed bandits who have taken it upon themselves to disrupt the peace and security of our dear country.
Earlier, the Commander 305 Mobility Group Commander A.B. Sule, in an address of welcome, said it was an honor to welcome the Air Chief and his entourage. He pledged to give their full support to the Nigeria Air Force. From the Nigeria Air Force Base, Calabar, Bernardine Anam, Radio Nigeria.
The Cross River State Migration Control Services Agency is set to train over 200 women and youth in the state on entrepreneurial development and capacity building. The Director General Migration Control Services Agency, Prince Michael Nkwabu, who started these in Calabar, said migration is a global phenomenon with local impact. Prince Abu explained that the program, which was organized in partnership with the offices of the Special Advisors on Enterprise Development Funding and Community Enterprise Development, as well as accredited enterprise development institutes, will help train 200 people. The Director General said the training will take a week-long enterprise certification course and will assist them facilitate access to 10 million naira intervention fund from the Central Bank of Nigeria to enable them start or expand their businesses. He noted that the agency is tasked with the summarized mandate of addressing irregular migration and positively exploiting the gains of regular migration, noting that a state legislation is underway to give the agency legal backing. President Muhammadu Buhari has requested the approval of the Senate for the confirmation of 42 ambassadorial nominees. One of the nominees from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, was appointed as career ambassador, while the rest are non-career nominees. The President, in another letter, asked the upper chamber to confirm the appointment of 3 nominees as commissioners in the Federal Civil Service Commission. He also sought the approval of the Senate for the appointment of a Federal Commissioner for the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission. Protesters have stormed the Federal Medical Center, Lokoja, the Kogi State capital, destroying the administrative block and cutting away computers and files reportedly relating to COVID-19. Report says the protesters, numbering about 50, arrived on the premises with placards and dangerous weapons. The rationale behind the demonstration was not unconnected to the management of the coronavirus disease in the state. The intervention of men of the State Police Command, however, prevented the situation from escalation. Efforts to speak with the Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Dr. Tunde Alabi, proved abortive. You're listening to news at 6 on Radio Nigeria, Canaan City 99.5 FM Calabar. There is no place like home. Here are highlights of the stories in the bulletin so far. Acting Chief Judge of Cross River State approves constitution of special mobile court to prosecute defaulters of anti-tax laws of the state. Still to come, President Buhari seeks Senate approval for 42 ambassadorial nominees. At least 50 people killed in Ethiopia over the death of a popular singer sparked huge protest in the Oromia region. Plus sports updates, please stay tuned. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now the rest of the news. President Muhammadu Buhari has requested the Senate to screen and confirm 41 non-career and 1 career ambassador for appointment. The letter of request was read on the floor at plenary by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan. Among the nominees included Debo Adeshina Oyo, ESCO Minister of States for Defense Ademola Seriki, Lagos, and Mr. Dare Sunday Awoniyi, Kogi. Nasarawa State Government has commenced distribution of COVID-19 relief materials to households in 1,495 polling units across the 13 local government areas of the state. At the presentation of the food items to the 13 local council chairmen in the state at the government house in Lafia, Governor Abdullahi Sule warned that any reported case of diversion would attract severe sanctions. Governor Sule said the target beneficiaries of the palliatives were the poorest households and the vulnerable members to ameliorate the hardship they are facing due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And now foreign news. At least 50 people have been killed in Ethiopia after the death of a popular singer sparked huge protest in the Oromia region. Thousands of fans had gathered to mourn Hachalu Hundessa, who was shot dead while driving. Police say 35 people, including prominent politician Jawar Mohammed, have been arrested. Hachalu, 34, had recently said that he had received death threats. His songs focused on the rights of the country's Oromo ethnic group and became anthems in a wave of protest that led to the downfall of the previous prime minister in 2018. Still on the foreign scene, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has urged Israel not to go ahead with the annexation of part of the occupied West Bank, saying it would be illegal and contrary to the country's interest. His Israeli counterpart Benjamin Netanyahu said today as a possible start date for the process of applying Israeli sovereignty to Jewish settlements and the Jordan Valley. The Israeli move would be in line with U.S. President Donald Trump's vision for peace, a plan for ending the decades-old Israeli-Palestinian conflict that he unveiled in January. Some 430,000 Jews live in more than 130 settlements and scores of smaller outposts built since Israel occupied the West Bank in the 1967 Middle East War. Let's join Michael Akbang for Sports Update.
Lionel Messi scored the 700th goal of his career with a Panenka penalty in Barcelona's La Liga draw with Atletico Madrid on Tuesday. The Spanish Giants' all-time goal scorer hit the landmark goal for club and country by gently chipping the ball into the nets as Jan Oblak dived the wrong way. The goal had put Barcelona 2-1 up, but Atletico hit back to draw 2-2. Barca remains second, 1 point behind Real Madrid, who have a game in hand. Messi's penalty was also his 630th goal in his 724th appearance for club. The Argentine star played a part in the opener for Barcelona when his wiped corner hit Diego Costa and deflected into the back of the net. Former Chelsea striker Costa quickly had the chance to make amends when Atletico were awarded the penalty after Yannick Carrasco was fouled inside the box. Costa stepped up to take the spot kick, only to see it saved by Marc-Andre, but it had to be retaken because the Barcelona goalkeeper had come off his line early. Messi restored Barcelona's lead and reached his career milestone with his cheeky Panenka named after Antoine Panenka's famous penalty for Czechoslovakia in the final of the 1976 European Championship. And that's it for sports. It's been Michael Akman.
Many thanks, Michael. To end the news at 6, a recap of the major items. The acting Chief Judge of Cross River State, Justice Maurice Ineji, has given approval for the constitution of a special mobile court to prosecute defaulters of the anti-tax laws of the state. President Muhammadu Buhari has requested the Senate to screen and confirm 41 non-career and 1 career ambassador for appointment. At least 50 people have been killed in Ethiopia after the death of a popular singer sparked huge protest in the Oromia region. For comments, breaking news and coverage of events, and an email to kenancitynews@gmail.com. You can connect with us on social media on Facebook.com/Radio Nigeria Kenan City FM 99.5 and on Twitter @Kenan City Radio. On behalf of the duty editor Benedine Anam and the production team, my name is Utabe Nyung, thanking you for tuning to Radio Nigeria Kenan City 99.5 FM Calabar. Good evening and thanks for listening.
City FM 99.5 Calabar.
The culture, the music, the home of real hip hop and R&B. 99.5
FM.